She's always played in contrasts. The hate is loud, the loyalty quiet. But it's the quiet loyalty that makes any brand feel elite, the people who don't demand acknowledgement, who simply hold your back when the media squall hits. That's why the Stassi Schroeder episode, the former fan number 1 who unfollowed Meghan Markle live on air over a missed PR box, doesn't read as a petty flare-up of ego. It's the opening reel of a real crisis. Not because one influencer got offended, but because her monologue finally voiced what Meghan's own base has whispered for years: we stopped feeling seen. Strip away the emotion and you're left with a broken logic for engaging your core. As ever was built as a club of belonging, scarcity, a handwritten touch, a private tone, an implicit pledge to see each of you. But a club isn't decor or a pretty manifesto, it's a sequence of consistent gestures. When a faithful advocate says publicly, "We knocked and no one answered," that sequence snaps. Along with it goes the carefully curated legend of home warmth. The sharpest line in Stassi's take was the one about a frozen strategy she stuck in 2017. That's not about the calendar, it's about the language. The same soft backgrounds, the same rare jars, the same polished lines about simple joys and not a halftone of live risk. Aesthetics without story turn into glass. They gleam, but don't warm. And the moment glass cracks even over one box, one clumsy send list, through that fissure spills what's been held in. Advocate fatigue, insider disappointment, the sense of being replaceable. Scale matters. This isn't the first quiet rupture around Meghan. Bridges burned with Jessica Mulrooney, the confidante whose children led the bridal procession. A friendship with Millie McIntosh went cold. Shared gestures with Priyanka Chopra disappeared. Each incident had its explanation. But once the puzzle assembles, a pattern emerges. More and more people who were there have slipped into the shadows. Media call that a pattern, customers call it unpredictability. Brands know, unpredictability is the most expensive luxury and trust rarely covers the bill. Why did the Stassi clip pull the trigger? Because this isn't a hater, it's the voice that used to defend you. The very cohort that converts your story into live streams, shorts, reels, and tireless replies suddenly repurposes its vocabulary and turns it back on you. I defended, I posted, my PR reached out, and silence. That tone is more dangerous than tabloid headlines for 2 reasons. First, it feels true in the details. Second, it's contagious. Every small advocate, the ones not invited to private lives, the ones who didn't get early access, can try the feeling on. Collectively, they're the ones who create the reputation you brag about in case studies. Why doesn't the team handled it, not Meghan work? Because as ever never sold product, it sold closeness. Closeness can't be fully delegated. Elite brands always maintain a narrow channel of direct validation for their own, a named gesture, recognition by name, an unexpected reply without a press release. When the answer becomes "you're not on the list," people hear not logistics glitched, but you were swapped for whoever argues louder. That's the most dangerous inversion. From that point on, scandal is rewarded, not loyalty. Ecosystems break on that pivot. Add the built-up irritants, a second season of With Love, Meghan that missed the top 10, fatigue with rare family photos from behind released right on cue, the nagging sense that intimacy is being rationed to serve launch calendars. Against that backdrop, any misstep with your core fans stops looking like a one-off and starts reading as a symptom. The bone of the brand is not values, it's format. Formats can be copied, values have to be lived. 3 pressure points this flare-up exposed, and why they're fatal for premium playbooks. The hierarchy of attention. In a world where attention is currency, how you allocate it defines your power structure. When skeptical podcasts get priority because it drives buzz while your defenders fall outside the PR grid, it reads like a change in addressee. The brand is speaking to noise, not to people. For a mass product that might be defensible. For a boutique label with a soul, it's a verdict. Swapping club for audience. Clubs run on rituals of belonging. Scarcity for scarcity's sake isn't a ritual. Recognition is. We see you first because you were here when no one else was. If the logic becomes first the reach, then the gratitude, the club dissolves into a crowd that looks loyal on the surface and feels alienated underneath. The fragility of the "I'm a real person" legend. That has always been Meghan's strongest card. But real doesn't just mean stories about a first job at 13 in a yogurt shop, it also means simple public thank yous to specific people. When those thanks turn into the team will be in touch, the legend loses blood. What do you do if your house sits on those beams? Don't bicker, fix the beams. Put names back into your communication. Not a general post, named, direct acknowledgements. Loyalty isn't a send list, it's humans with bias, avatars, and memory. Rewire the reward system, from boxes to roles. An ambassador with genuine early access, a co-hosted private stream, a local community curator, these cost less than another hamper and are valued far more. Shift the camera from pose to process. Not the polished perfect day, but a live cut with imperfections, breath, not just manifesto. For an elite audience, unmanufactured proximity is the true luxury. To be fair, Stassi is emotional, hyperbole is her genre. And no single box should determine an artist's strategy. But in 2025 a box is just the physical marker of a deeper story. Who is yours, and how do you show it? Meghan has an extraordinary gift for turning personal pain into narrative power. Today she has a rare chance to scale someone else's pain, the fans, into new honesty. We made a mistake. Here's what we're changing, specifically will restore more trust than 100 perfect frames. The paradox is that this crisis didn't come from hate, it came from love told later. Love doesn't tolerate later, it cools. If you're building an open kitchen for millions, everyone who brings a dish wants to feel noticed. That's the highest art of an elite brand, making something mass feel intimate. As ever is dangerously close to losing that. The point of no return isn't here yet. The fix is simple, not easy. Stop talking to abstractions and start speaking to people by name again. Go back to where Meghan's strength was born, looking straight into the lens and speaking without a second take. In the end, brands survive not because they have more reach, but because they have more memory. Memory of who stood there when there was no top 10 badge, when jars didn't sell out in minutes, when every rare thing was worth exactly what gratitude is worth. For now, the lesson of this last straw is blunt. Big storms don't scare those who hear the first patter of rain. That patter was loud this week, not with Schadenfreude, but with a simple request. See us.